You're watching Experience Comic Culture and Sales, streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
And the Liam.
Hello.
This time for a Minute to Skim It, where we read all the books coming out tomorrow, and we're going to spend the next hour talking about them while I have this very delicious food that almost started a full-on argument with Kyle, the producer, in the background. But that is a-okay, because it is delicious for us, and we hope everybody's doing okay out there. So, Liam, take it away with the first book.
So I'm going to start from my favorites and work.
Chicken or cannibals?
Hey! Okay, it is steak, it is chicken, it is crab, it is honey teriyaki, it is sesame oil, and white rice and...
I ordered us poke for dinner.
Delicious.
Yes. Rogue State, I actually didn't, like, the only things I had an issue with was, it wasn't an issue, but it was, like, I'm missing context, because the two on the bottom, they're from continuing series that I haven't read. And I didn't know that. Well, I knew Demon Wars, but I haven't had a chance to read it. Anyways, Rogue State. I thought it was really, really good. So it starts off implied just before the 2020 election. It's not directly mentioned, but it is implied. Hi! No.
What she lead?
But it's honestly, it's a really, really good take before a malicious state takes place. And it's a really good read. And it directly like names like major social media platforms like YouTube, Instagram, stuff like that. And I thought it was a beautiful take on how like the world would see before a malicious state would take place in our modern age. I thought it was a really good story, and I felt like it was a really good take on everything that could have happened during that election, and that possibly did in parts of the country. And I strongly, this is my pick of the week. I loved it. It made me laugh. Like, if people were outside the room, we have plexiglass windows, they would have heard me laughing.
What is
Rogue
it?
State, not Rogue State, Mr. Experience. Oh, it's because I misspelled it. They copy and paste it from our messages.
They only know what we're reading by what we tell them, so
Yeah.
that's on us. If it's ever messed up, it's our problem.
Us. It's my problem. But no, that was my pick of the week. I loved it. The art in it was really good.
I had a tie for my pick of the week,
Really?
so I don't know which one to talk about first.
Just do I Hate Fairyland.
Oh God, we all know I love this. So this is I Hate Fairyland. Guess what? It's back.
I finished reading it yesterday to read that this week.
Oh my God, and it's back better than like ever. I love it
I hope
so
so. It's
much.
been a
Like,
few
oh my
years.
God. So Gertrude's all grown up, but that's not how it opens. How it opens is in Fairyland, there's a rat family that's tucking in their young one into bed, and he's like, Daddy, I can't sleep until you tell me the story of the blah. And then the rat dad's like, oh, but I gotta go to work. And he's like, I can't sleep. And you're like, okay, tell him the story. And then he's like, once upon a time in Fairyland, which is where they are, there was a little girl who wished that she could escape from reality. And so she did. But then after years and years and years of this, she wished she had never made that wish. And he's like, oh, I love this part. And he's like, shh, to the story. I was like, okay. And he's like, and then Gert took out the evil Queen Claudia, and I was like, I don't remember her being that evil, just a little evil, but okay. And so the whole story of Gert being in Fairyland has turned into like bedtime stories for kids.
I love that though.
It's so cool. And then we flash over to Gert in the real world, who is on her new night job doing like fast food, and Gert doing retail or customer service jobs is not in her best interest.
So if you didn't read the end of the original series, which I binge read it yesterday, it ends with her
Getting out.
possibly getting fired from her cubicle job.
Oh yeah, this one she literally spends 2 or 3 pages talking about all the jobs that she's gotten fired for. And she's like, well, I can't do this because of this, and I can't do this because I told this kid there's no Santa. There is Santa for any kids out there. And so like it was bad, and then all of a sudden she just gets like poked in the eye at this bar and kicked out of the bar, and then it takes a turn, and then it just rolls down the hill. It was great. I love it. It's back. It's back.
To be fair, she did become an adult in a situation where she couldn't have even like gotten a regular job.
But so the way, I'm not going to give any spoilers, but she's offered a job and things are about to happen. I'm so excited for number 2. Oh my God.
It's been years in the making.
I'm so ready for, like, I can't wait. Like, this is going to be one of those books that I can't wait for a trade. This is going to be a book I have to get every single issue. So definitely pick it up because, yeah, for sure. Sorry. There we go. Fixed for Pablo. Aww. That's adorable.
Okay. So, like I said, I'm going to just knock out this cop row and work its way down because it was honestly a really good week. Murder World Adventures. So... yeah, the Avengers are like a B plot in this, or like background characters. I don't think it's actually the Avengers. I think it's just guys dressed up in costumes.
That tracks.
So essentially the social media influencer, very obviously like an Instagram influencer, he gets a package saying that he got invited to this amusement park kind of thing. It's exclusive. They're filming a documentary and it's gonna surround him. Obviously it's a lie. Chickens are cannibals. I mean, chicken is, yeah.
Chickens are tiny T-Rexes of evil ones, and I can definitely say that.
We are descended from dinosaurs.
Okay. But like chickens are evil, and that's why I eat them with extreme prejudice.
Anyways, back to murder. I have a thing with the farm industry. That's not important to us though.
I used to raise chickens. I'm allowed to eat them. They pecked out me.
Anyways, back to the show. We can talk about this after. So they get sent to this island where 200 people have been shipped there, and it's essentially like Hunger Games. That's the whole premise. I've been saying that a lot every week, but that's the general thing that like this is essentially the Hunger Games just in Marvel format. It's really, I thought it was really funny. Everything on this top row, it made me chuckle. And Manimals are evil too. But
Chicken's delicious.
It's a really good story if you like the premise of like there's a big old prize at the end, but you have to massacre people. And you won't win otherwise. There is not a huge twist, but it was a very like, oh, that happened at the end. And it just makes you be like, now what's going to happen? Who are we following? What's happening? So I recommend picking it up. It's really good. It's a really good book.
This is my turn.
Yes.
Mr. Easton, number 1. As we all know, Jenna has a small obsession with bunnies.
Small.
Bigger on the inside. This is an assassin bunny. I'm trying to talk about it without spoiling it, but
it's hard.
Let me look at my notes real quick because I wrote non-spoily bunny assassin, and my biggest note on here is well, to each their own, because there's a panel that happens in it, and I'm just kind of like, that happened. Liam, look, this happened.
Yeah, no, it
was so good though, and Kit Wallace is amazing.
I love his stuff.
Miss Jenny got to interview him a little while back, and he was such a trooper because it was like 2:00 in the morning where he lives.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have a bunny assassin who is sent out on a job and is like, well, I mean, this is the job I'm doing. It was really cool, and the art inside the book is exactly this kind of art too. where he's a giant smiley assassin bunny.
It's beautiful, to say the least.
Yeah.
It is really good art. I've always liked everything that
Kit Wallace. Oh
Kit
my
Wallace
gosh.
puts
Yes.
out, yeah.
So amazing. So definitely pick it up because I really don't know what else I could say about it without spoiling it. And I deeply, deeply enjoyed it. All right. What does that say? Sorry, we're catching up on all the comments. I'm here.
Anyways.
Ric Flair wins. I see what you see. I see.
So, Resident Alien, Book of Love. Apparently it's based on a sci-fi show. I did not know that until I started reading
the
this.
sci-fi show is based off of that because the book came out first.
Okay, regardless, there's a sci-fi show attached to it. I don't know. I don't have cable. Well, I do. But
Alan
I don't watch it.
I love Alan Tudyk.
But it's really, really cute. It's a really cute take on like alien human love. It's adorable. It does have implications of fun adult times at one point, though. That's all I'll say. It's a super cute story. I feel like you can't go wrong with it. It's not a pun. But it's just a super, super cute story. I can't really say much without spoiling it. But they do make I can't remember if it's in this or if it's something else. I think it is this where they make a reference to X-Files. And they verbatim are just like, wow. They're verbatim like, what's that show that has like those the Mulder and Scully? And the person's like, oh, that show. Resident Alien is one of the best shows. So much Shrek humor. Then I need to check it out because we do have cable. We have on demand. I just don't.
It's on Sci-Fi.
Well, yeah, we have cable. But it's a cute story. So I recommend picking it up if you want something like just to break up the dark that's been happening the last like 2 months.
Speaking of dark, let's talk about probably one of the
Dark
darker
Crisis.
books that I read this one. So this is Dark Crisis: Worlds Without a Justice League. This one's Batman. In the very beginning, we kind of see there are two Batman or two Bruce Waynes, and they're trying to figure out who's actually the Bruce Wayne for that world, even though across the world there are no Justice League, so there's no Batman. Yeah. So one of them has got to be the real Bruce Wayne, but not really. So we'll see. And also, as it says on the bottom, Zatanna shows up, and you can tell instantaneously that Alfred is so done. Where he's like, "You're wrong, Master Bruce," and "You're wrong, Master Bruce." Things, and you're like, "Okay, Alfred is done. Alfred is done with the shenanigans, like super done with them." And Zatanna is already just like, "You know what? This isn't the right one." Bye. You're like, "Oh." Like everybody in this book is just so done with everybody's shenanigans.
That's fair,
and like I felt that. I definitely felt that. His favorite show is Law and Order. Dum Dum.
I love that. Though.
Yeah, but it was really cool to get to see kind of what's going on because there is this. It's across the multiverse where the Justice League has just been like yeeted out by like a big bad, and we know who the big bad is from the main storyline of Dark Crisis, kind of, and getting to see how they're trying to fix it, and then everybody being reminded that Zatanna is probably one of the most powerful beings in the DC universe. Like I have sang her praises forever, and I'm super glad that it's like all over everybody's faces now. So there it is.
Jenna, this is a family show.
Her greatness is there. It's there now. Go read it. It's good.
Anyways, I don't know how to transition from that. Invader Zim 25th anniversary. So I heard before the show started that it was a reprint of the first issue of the original Invader Zim comic. It's not. It takes place in the in-between because there's a series that started after Enter the Florpus came out or just before it. If you don't know what Enter the Florpus is, it's a continuation of the Invader Zim universe that Netflix put out a few years ago.
It's the movie.
It's a great movie. Got me re-interested in Invader Zim, and this essentially takes place in that halfway point and fills in the plot holes that they can't really. Yes, we have a box set of the DVDs.
All of it.
But it fills in a little bit of the plot holes that they can't really translate to screen. And I felt like it worked really well. It was really cute, and I'm very excited for the rest of the series because apparently it's a number one. It tells you at the end that's number one. But
I'm so excited.
I'm very excited. It seems like a very interesting series.
I like what Pablo did. Where he's like, yeah, and then okay, so every time I hear that, because there was this one gift that somebody did forever ago when the show was on,
Yeah.
and where it's like zim dab, zim dab, zim dab. It's just like.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Too.
Right? And I don't know why. I absolutely love it. The same creator who did that also did Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, and I heard a rumor that they might be redoing that one as well. Not like continuing it, but like re-releasing it as an anniversary one. So we'll see.
I'm very excited because Johnny Vasquez, he's always been attached to his projects. He's never been like, just do it and just throw my name on it. He's always been very passionate about his projects, especially with Johnny the Homicidal Maniac and the Zim comics.
All right, so I am going to talk about I'm only allowed to say it once.
You got this. I believe in you. You say it once and I'll correct you if you say it wrong.
Facsimile. I did it! Yes!
She was having issues saying it before the show.
Oh my gosh. So usually I get to say it once per day and then my brain just like shorts out and I can't say it right anymore. So I had to think about it. This is, so if you read it, this is numbers 1, 2, and 3 of the 1990 run for, this is the best of Danny Ketch. Is it Ketch or Ketch?
I feel like it's Ketch.
But it's an E with a K.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you wanted to revisit 90s Ghost Rider, definitely pick this up. It is a thick book, and I think they're doing it for $8. But like I said, it is 3 issues in there.
It's not bad.
Yeah, part of the Marvel Tales that they're redoing on this one. So what is it? Congrats, you have opened the next level of word difficulty. No, thank you. I would like to stay right here because I still cannot say a lot of words. Just like, let me see if I can say it. I've been practicing for like a year now. Are you ready? Jane knows exactly what word I'm going to try and say. Minuscule.
So close.
Darn it!
Minuscule.
You're
You're off by like one syllable.
I have never been able to say that word, and
That's fair.
I can't. I try. All right.
Ketch, like ketchups.
Ketch. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you got next?
Door to door,
No,
night
no,
by
no.
night.
No, I have problems with this. This is, look at this cover.
It's
Look
written
it says
weird.
door night to door night. That is what that says.
The guy that I watch.
Door night by door night.
So there's a guy that I watch every week that
That
tells
whole
you about
Walking
new
Dead
books that are
problem.
coming out. There's a guy that I watch on YouTube that tells you like what new books are coming out for the week, and I watch it every Sunday. He
It's
was
the
like,
Walking Dead problem. It's don't open, dead inside, but dead is no. That is
dead don't
door night to buy door night.
Anyways, so I don't know how to- it's fine.
Anyways,
So it's a really good like mystery kind of tale, which sounds weird. I will warn, there is an entire panel of 2 consenting adults having a great time behind a bar.
unsanitary.
I know they were drunk. It's fine.
Unsanitary.
And so the main character that we follow, you don't really know why she's a part of this group now, and you find out towards the end.
Can she read? She read door night to buy door night. Is that why? I'm not gonna let this die. I will die on this hill.
It's a really good tie-in to like why she is. I don't even know how to. It's fine. It's really good. It's just.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really good tie-in to like what's happening. Like you go through this whole like why are all these people here? And they're door-to-door salesmen, kind of. They raise money for the local fire departments by selling coupons to get their photographs taken. And they
Pocket photographs.
just this family portraits.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's essentially a scam. They're paying $10 to get a coupon for something that's like $50. So it's just a really nice story. I'm very excited to see where they're gonna go with this story. And especially with like I don't want to spoil it, but there is a really cool creature. Door by door, night by night.
Yes. Yes. There we go. I like it. Okay. I want to talk about, so this one is very serious, and I do want to preface this with a slight trigger warning for anybody who is ever trying to kind of like, okay, so I'll tell you what happens. So Green Goblin here, he gets all of his sins blasted from him by, I think it was Sin Eater? Is that who it was?
That sounds correct.
That sounds correct. Yeah. So now he is no longer the Green Goblin. He no longer has those urges, but he has this, what he feels like a hole in him that he's trying to work through. But he is literally haunted by the ghost of everybody he's wronged. And he keeps seeing dead Gwen Stacy behind him telling him, yo, what's up, bro? Now you want to be good after you done like murked me? Okay. All right, now you think you can be good? And he's just trying to take his kid to go play baseball. And it's just, you know.
That's what happens when you murk Gwen Stacy.
And a whole bunch of other people.
Yeah.
Because he's got this internal struggle of, I need to feel guilty for the things I've done, even though I've been absolved of this. Well, not absolved, but like.
You're never absolved of murder.
Although that part of him as Green Goblin was shot out of him, and now he's Gold Goblin, and people they're calling him Gold Goblin. He doesn't want to be called that because he doesn't want to be associated with any goblin thing.
Yeah.
And at one point, 2 kids ask for his autograph because they see him. He's like, well, do you have anything? And they hand him a skull.
Where did they get the skull from?
Great question. You got to read the book to find out. They hand him a skull and he signs it and hands it back to them. And they're like, that's so cool. We got Gold Goblin. He's like, I guess I'm Gold Goblin now. So yeah, definitely pick this up if you're a fan of Green Goblin, or if you're a fan of any of that type of storylines or any of those storylines, definitely pick this up. This was really cool to see. It does feel like a new beginning for Norman Osborn.
Nice.
So yeah, and it's kind of interesting to see how he's working through his.
I feel
past.
like Norman Oswald needs to be Osborn. Oswald.
Yeah, sure, okay.
My brain's gone. I'm very tired. I got here way later than I expected.
The weather is just.
The weather has been frying my brain.
It's trying to take us all out.
So, Mystery Brothers, number 1. I thought it was really good. I don't remember if I sent this to Jay. It's fine.
Aw.
I
yay!
did. Okay. It's really, really good. Like it's not my pick of the week. It takes a lot to be a pick of the week. But it is a fantastic. It's really good. The art on the cover is the same as in the inside. It's really good. Lee Harvey Oswald.
Wow, that escalated quickly.
That did. So essentially, the dad in this, he's been estranged from his kid for a long time. And enjoy the con. Oh. Aww.
When you need a minute to skim it. Aw, thank you.
Thank you.
Super awesome.
Continue. But essentially, the dad has been estranged. He dipped when the son was a kid.
Rude.
And well, he did it for good reason. So the company that he works for sent him basically out. He makes cyborgs that the public should not have access to.
Rude.
So you follow the son who's like trying to understand why his dad left. And at the same time, a lot of stuff happens with his dad and the company, and his essentially half brother. It's not really explained. You would think that it's a cyborg at first, but it's not. It's very confusing. Once you start reading it, it makes more sense. It is very good. And I have a weird feeling that they're gonna make dark biblical ties to like the original Cain and Abel, because it's a messed up story originally. It's a disturbed story. So I strongly recommend picking it up. There is not really anything from Red 5 that I have not enjoyed.
Oh, I love Red 5.
I like Red 5. And Josh Starnes, who's the head publisher of Red 5, he's friends with the store. And I like him as a person. He's also publishes really great stuff.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And
I actually got to talk to 2 people who are publishing something through Red 5 yesterday.
Nice.
They were awesome.
Right. Like everything that the writers from Red 5 put out, they're all bangers. I have not read something that I did not like. Not really anything that I've read has been mediocre. I feel like it's just not been my taste.
All right, guys. So this is going to come as a shock to everybody.
It came to a shock for me.
So this is the Bell Annual. Everybody knows, everybody in the store, everybody out there, you know I am the biggest Zenescope fan.
That's not an exaggeration.
I buy everything that they put out. This might be one I don't buy.
Yeah.
It was let me get to my notes so I can tell you exactly why. All right, so there is one thing that I super duper loved. The turtle's name that sits in the pocket, his name is Hershey.
Aww.
That was adorable as all get up. The art was great. There was too much back and forth time travel for me.
Yeah.
Like, Belle goes back to her past. She's trying to get her mom because now she regrets killing her mom. But, you know, her mom's kind of in Tartarus or underworld prison, hell. She has to, have a very long chit chat with the king down there. And, which forced another flashback.
Was this the exposition thing that you were talking about earlier? Just a lot.
75% of the book is exposition. I know. I hate to say this. It was kind of boring.
A lot of Zenescope. The last couple of things that I've read from Zenescope, it's been a lot of exposition.
It
for no
feels
reason.
like they're setting up for another really big crossover of everything. But when you look at their lineup for what's coming out, there is nothing of that sort coming out in the next couple of years. And so it's like, okay, so you guys are doing all this exposition to set up something, and you kind of feel it in the background of this in the last couple of pages that something's going to happen. And
just nothing.
There was a quick fight, but way too much. It was a flashback, in an alternate dimension, in a flash forward with a flashback.
Like the little bit of Zenescope that I have been reading, I feel like it's a weird amount of exposition for no reason.
Although everything Van Helsing they've put out, I've been on board. Everything Cinderella they've put out has been beautiful. All the other stuff. This
like
one,
the last couple of annuals that I've read for them, it's been like a lot, and I'm like, I feel like I need something to grab me and bring me in.
It's a thick book. They're like 64 or 72 pages. I can't remember, but and the art's pretty nice except for on some parts. But like this one just, and I hate to say this, I was bored.
Yeah, that's fair.
I know.
That's fair. Okay. So moving down, actually, I'm gonna knock this out. So I'm gonna warn before I get in. This is I will give a major trigger warning. The second story in this does contain very graphic child abuse, and very graphic domestic violence. At some point, I had to stop reading it for about.
It's a nonstop too.
Yeah, it's in the art style of Dr. Seuss, which, I mean, sometimes that's fine, but with what's being depicted in this second story, the first story was kind of boring. The second story, it was like, I had to stop reading it for a second just to process. It's a lot. Just be wary. And if you are not okay with seeing depictions of domestic violence, and like personifications of abusive people, just parents in general.
Is the art like that?
Yeah, the art is Dr. Seuss style.
That makes it more disturbing.
Yeah, it kind of like a lot of the character designs in it gave me like reminiscent of stuff that I would have read as a kid, which did not help. So your discretion advised. I felt like it was kind of like the first story was kind of weak. I was really confused. And then the second story is just very in-your-face domestic violence. And I was not comfortable with that. I read a lot of messed up stuff.
Anyways,
so like I read messed up stuff, and this is something I'm not gonna.
It is by Scout. It does say for mature readers on the front. It is a nonstop.
Yeah.
So, which means we get this one, and the trade will come out next. For anybody who doesn't know,
Yeah.
that's what Scout means. I put nonstop. Please do not buy this for children.
Yeah, it's very much like it looks like a child's art style, but like there's a lot of depictions of abuse and violence. So, and adultery as well.
Well, then that
Yeah.
sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Should I do the other one that bored me this week?
It's up to you.
Yeah. So this was Star Wars Hidden Empire #1. It's based off of Palpatine and Vader are hunting down the Crimson Reign, and QR, I think was her name, which is her. She's the leader of the Crimson Reign, like the Resistance. There's literally only like one page of non-exposition.
Oh my, that's
Yeah. So it is a flashback.
Yeah.
I don't know why I got all the flashback books. But okay,
because
so
I gave you all the flashback books by accident. I'm so sorry.
Palpatine picked up somebody who was telling him what happened on their end of what was going on, and then it put a flashback during the thing. So it was a flashback with a flashback. I felt like the Flash should have come out this week. Jeez Louise. The art is exactly like it is in the cover.
That's normally how it goes.
Vader shows up for like 1.5 panels.
Oh, that's
Yeah. Palpatine is just sitting there talking with
screaming exposition.
I want to say her name is QR. Like it was QU apostrophe or QI apostrophe AR. KR? I can't say these. I'm so sorry.
I'm not
Whoever's
reading
the
this.
you can yell at
I'm
me.
not reading the Star Wars comics, nor do I follow Star Wars.
I read the books and I've watched all the movies, but I don't know why the comics confuse me. But this one, he's trying to hunt down the Crimson Reign. They're trying to bring something back from not ancient, but like older, kind of ancient times. I think that's what was happening. But yeah, it was literally just the two of them talk. And then at one point he's like, tell me. And she's like, I can't tell you anything if you're choking me. And he's like, fine. And then speak. And then they just keep talking.
Just don't stop talking.
Yeah, that's pretty much it is. And I am not the biggest. Do it like you did. Like there are other ways to do exposition. You don't need to put all of your exposition in one book.
If there are any writers watching, we like exposition when it's tied into stories.
Yeah,
Not just this is information.
this
Here
is
you
more
go.
information. Here's some more information.
Here's some
more
background.
information.
Here's a character background. Here's
Like
some
you can
backstory.
slowly go through it.
Like you can tie it in and not just like throw it and just info dump at us. Like we're reading. We want to read. We want to move the story along.
Yes, give me a good story. All right, so what's next here?
Blade Vampire Nation.
I wanted to make sure I was reading.
I have not read the Blade comics, and I feel like that was fine.
Wesley Snipes on the cover. That's great.
It is, yes. It's Wesley Snipes in the book too. I forgot that he plays Blade. I completely forgot. It's been a couple of years. If I'm being honest, I haven't watched Blade in probably like 2 years.
Who was the new actor? Like he just started showing up as Blade in Eternals.
I haven't watched them.
Oh gosh, what's that actor's name? He was in Luke Cage.
You have a phone. I'm doing the review.
Maybe
You
they
can
know.
look it up.
Maybe they know.
Googleized.
Yeah.
But if you haven't been reading the comics, I feel like that's fine. I haven't read it. I've only seen the first movie, and that's all I really needed. It takes place in Chernobyl. Basically, all of Chernobyl has been.
Thank you. Oh my goodness.
So vampires have taken over Chernobyl and live there now because I guess they can resist radiation.
Rude.
I don't get it. It's not explained. I'm just like, this is how this works.
That's rude.
And so it's just a decent story. I feel like the hype was a little bit overdone for this. I've heard it hyped up since probably the middle of the summer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's great. A new Blade comic. Everybody's been screaming for a new one for years. And I feel like this was a bit overhyped. I feel like
kind of a letdown.
Yeah, I felt like with all the hype that came with it, I was like, oh, perfect. It's a Blade comic. There's a new Blade movie coming out. I'm very hyped for this. I am very excited to see where this is going to go. And it was just a Blade comic. Like vampires fighting vampires.
We've been getting that a lot lately. Like when Blade first came out, that was a revolutionary idea.
Yeah.
But now, like okay, this week is not a good example. Yeah. But last week, like every other book had vampires doing something.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So
maybe a bit late. Bob Dylan. You're something else. You're something else, Pablo.
Love you, Pablo.
All right, so this book completely confused me, and I had major deja vu throughout the entire book. This is Sonic the Hedgehog. This is Tales' 30th anniversary one-shot. I figured out why it gave me deja vu, because they tell you at the back of it that this is... So they scoured the whole 30 years of all the stories that had Tales in it, and they combined them and redrew it. So it's if you've read Tales before, it's probably in here. Because they made one storyline, but it's like all of the stories of Tales in one. It was a lot of deja vu for me, and it was really cool to see like the updated art to it. But I wish they would have wrote a new story rather than just combining a bunch of old stories.
Yeah, like, and because I didn't read it, but she tells me like what's going on in the book, so I generally understand what's happening. And they put this is all a compilation at the very end.
Because I kept looking at him and I'm like, this is deja vu. Did I read this? Is this a thing? And he looked at it, was like, no, this is new. And I'm like, then why am I having deja vu like the whole book? And then it says it at the back, and I was like,
that's unfortunately becoming like a really common thing. Like, we need the like, oh, this is all a compilation at the very beginning, so we're not like, I've read this before, haven't I?
Yeah.
It gets really confusing, and I'm like, I get it, I understand. That's how you want to edit the book.
It was cute. It was cute. It was cute. It was adorable.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with a
Tales
Tales
at the same
story.
time, like it was too much deja vu.
Yeah.
If I would have known going into it that it was, parts of this is a story that you've already read before and we've kind of revamped it, then I would have been like, oh, cool, I'm revisiting something. I like to revisit
like
things,
reestablishing context. We need reestablished context before going into anniversary stories, and I feel like a lot of people don't like the Invader Zim story. I feel like it did it really well. It's 25th anniversary. And they give you an established, like, the very first page is this kid explaining like this comic. And that's your like background of just like, here we go again. On my own.
Walking down the only road I've ever known.
Anyways, but that kind of thing we need at the beginning because we need context. It's a fire song.
I've made up my mind. I'm not wasting no more time. Now we got Stargirl.
Also, I have Viva La Boca as a recommended song directly under a bunch of 90s punk.
Oh my gosh.
And I was very confused.
All right, so I think it was last week that I read the one shot that's kind of like the beginning of this one. It was, what was that one shot called? Justice Society or something? I can't remember what it was.
New Golden?
Yes, it was New Golden Age, I think is what it was.
Yes.
This is a continuation. Well, it's more like a side piece to it.
Mm-hmm.
So part of the missing children, they set up in that one shot that there are missing kids throughout the DC universe. Well, we's about to find them.
Oh.
And what happens is, so Stargirl is the beginning started in, what was it, 1940?
I thought it was
1942. The beginning of it was in 1942 with the group was like the first generation of teenage superheroes. And one of them dies, but he doesn't actually die. He went to the missing. And so, this one actually had a twin, and they like had powers together. And now the dude's an old dude because then it gets set today, and he's like, "I know he's not dead. I need to."
Hey, Jenna, real fast. Can you check and see if you hopped internet?
Oh, jinkies. Let's see.
That's
Well, I know. I was trying to get the one next to it. Nope.
We've been having weird internet issues for like 2 weeks.
Okay, because y'all just
like
dropped.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Y'all just dropped out like the last 10 seconds. So
should I start that over again?
Welcome to 8-Bit Minute Skim It.
Let me just do the dance until you're ready for me to talk about it.
well, you're blurry, but you're clearer than you were. So you're starting to clear up now.
Because we reset, and because by we I mean Jen, because I didn't know what cable to unplug. Gen reset the router. So I don't know.
I don't know what's going on.
Whenever we get cold fronts in, from what I've noticed is that whenever we get cold fronts, it
Or
destroys
storms.
our internet.
Yeah.
So
Storms and.
But y'all are good now.
Okay,
Now.
so should I start over with Stargirl then?
Yeah, I would.
Okay, so Stargirl is the golden age, as we've slowly figured out on our brainy parts. Is another like side story to it. So originally it was set in the first half of it set in 1942, with the first generation of teenage superheroes having like a group, and then one of them dies. But he doesn't actually die, he's just missing. And that's not a spoiler. They literally set that up as like the beginning. And then as that is set up, because he has like the twin thing where they're like powers activate, but not actually like powers activate. And the dude's, yeah. And then the old dude's like, I know he's not dead. I need to go find him. And what's that?
Close everything on the laptop except for screen.
Are we still blurry? Well, hold on. Let's just see if we're still blurry.
No, you're good.
No, we're good. Miss Jones is behind. Yeah. And then it goes into today, where this new group actually have somebody missing. And they're like, oh, I don't think that old time one, Wings, I remember his name now. I don't think that old time one actually died. I think he's missing too. And so surprise visit and things happen and stuff. This was an excellent balance between exposition and story continuing like the action.
So I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the fact that as you were reading that, I was watching a documentary on the milk carton kids.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, there's supposedly just missing children throughout all of DC. And I think that's going to go across a couple of things, because it got announced in the one shot that I read last week. It was going to be part of the JSA, the new JSA that's supposed to start in the next couple of weeks. Yeah. This is also taking another side of it, because it's this group, right? They've got missing friends too. And they're like, now, wait a minute. I feel like we're missing somebody. And that's how it goes. Like, they're just like, somebody is missing. Yeah. So somebody is just going across time and just plucking people out. And that is rude, because A, it is children, and B, just take somebody out of time.
Don't start paradoxes out of spite.
You don't do it just because all willy-nilly. Now, if they're doing it to like make a team, I don't know, because
don't destroy the space-time continuum.
Well,
just
they
make a team.
What's confusing to me, because we found out in the last book with creepy dude who goes around and is always killing Dr. Fate to start taking children. Yeah. So now I want to know which Dr. Fate probably died in this one. Mm-hmm. When did that happen? Did that person become Dr. Fate? Mm-hmm. Is there a Dr. Fate in this universe? Because I love Dr. Fate. And then, like, how did they die? And who was the first kid to just get plucked out missing? Tell me.
Pair of docs. Which one?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So no good transition from any of these books today.
No.
Captain America and the Winter Soldier special. So you need to be reading Sentinel of Liberty to understand what's going on.
Oh, okay. So it's not like a true number one.
No.
Okay.
At the end, they're like, hey, this is relevant to Sentinel of Liberty issue 2. And I'm like, cool, that's great. I'm not reading Sentinel of Liberty. That's fantastic. That is great to know. I would have loved to know this at the beginning, that this is a Sentinel of Liberty tie-in. If you don't know what that series is, it's the new Captain America series that started over the summer. Or like early summer. And it follows Bucky and a group that I know nothing about, because I'm not reading the Captain America series. It's
like a side story of a main story?
I guess that's what I'm generally understanding. Essentially, like, there's this group called Under the Circle or something, or just something Circle.
That sounds rude.
That's like hunting down Bucky and like is out for Steve Rogers' like head.
Revenge!
Essentially. But there's no context to it, and I don't know what's happening because I'm not reading that series. It's, if you're following the Sentinel of Liberty series, pick this up because it gives you context to where Bucky is in that series, I guess. Because it jumps between time. And I'm like, okay. It starts in the 20s and then jumps to modern time, and then goes back to the 20s and then goes into the 40s and then gives you this whole timeline of like where Bucky is. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Okay, well, we got one more book
Yeah.
apiece first. We got one more book apiece.
So pick it up if you're reading that series. I can't give you an honest review because I don't know what's happening.
All right. So my biggest note, and I wrote this in capital letters: let people sleep. Star Trek, number 1. If they would have just left him alone and let him sleep, everybody would have been fine.
I feel like everybody in the Star Trek universe runs off of caffeine and
The thing
rage.
is, this main captain here, dude, right, has actually been missing
Yeah.
for a while. He wasn't actually missing. He was sleeping in the void. He was sleeping.
I think he was in the last issue of Star Trek that I read.
Yeah, he was part of the Deep Space Nine. So I literally wrote it twice where I was like, look at that. Let a person sleep. Let people sleep. Because guess what? Gods show up. Or at least he was like, well, yeah, sure, genocide, but genocide of a god.
I feel like that's...
We got lost again. Are we back? So, yeah.
Is this the Ben Sisko book?
Yes.
Oh.
No,
Is it not?
it is not.
I think he did last week.
I think so. Yeah. It was living with the gods. Yeah, and they were letting him take a nap. And then no. The people in Deep Space Nine on the NCC blah blah blah. They were like, no, we need to wake him up. I was like, yo, let a person sleep. I felt that very personally. What's the Sonic book? The new Sonic book? Yeah. So, Justin, welcome in. So this is the 30th anniversary of Tales. All right. Is that all your books?
No.
You got one more book. Okay.
So, Demon Wars: Shield of Justice. So, I ran out of time to actually read this. But the first couple of pages, I was like, oh, I'm missing so much context. So, Demon Wars has been going on for a while now. And I haven't been reading it, so I have no clue what's happening. And they were making like references back to the original story, and I know like this main character, like that's sitting behind the main girl. He's been like the villain in the main series. I know generally. What?
Isn't that Cap?
It's
not Cap. Never mind. Don't listen to me.
I think it's supposed to be Samurai Cap.
Yeah. It's Cap.
And so I don't know what's happening. The art in it is gorgeous. I love Peach Momoko's art. So I just looked at the art because there's context that I'm missing so much. So I didn't actually read it, but the art in it is gorgeous. I always love Peach's stuff. I have never had an issue with Peach's work. I want her artwork in my house.
Yes. Okay. So Sean asked us, well, into the Star Trek book for me is a good one. Been waiting for 20 plus years on the continuation. Okay, yeah, but let a person sleep. So these were my 2 picks of the week. I literally can't choose between these 2. I loved them. So Mr. Easta and I Hate Fairyland is back. Those are my picks of the week.
And mine, my 2, since we're doing 2,
I couldn't decide.
That's fair. Rogue State and Murder World Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
Both really, really good.
Yeah.
Rogue State is legitimately my #1 pick of the week. I will be pushing that hard this week.
Yeah. Unless I sell it all
It
tonight.
is fantastic. And it is a fantastic take on if the U.S. became a malicious state 9 months after an election.
Yes. And I am so sorry to do this because we do keep freezing up. We are going to have to leave just a couple minutes early so we can shut everything down and re-put it back up.
Yes.
But we will be back tomorrow. No, I won't be back tomorrow. What am I doing?
I won't either.
Coming in next is going to be in stores this week where you're going to have Kyle, you're going to have Dan, you're going to have Jay, and I think Sean isn't on this one. Well, they will also be talking about books that are coming out this
Pick
week.
of the week is Frito Pie. Same.
Yo, no, I already had my Pokeball. All right, guys. So we will see you guys again. I think our next show on this channel is Thursday.
I don't work your show.
No. My next show
on
this channel, the Space Cadets show. I think the next one is Thursday. Right? Yeah, hold on. Your pick of the week is Chickens Are Cannibals. I will fight you.
Bruh.
I know where you sleep at night.
Chickens aren't cannibals, though.
All right, guys. Have yourselves a safe one. If you were looking for any of these books, definitely call your LCS, see if they got them in. If not, please be kind to us because
please don't yell at us. We're doing our best.
There is still a paper shortage. There is also after the last hurricane, a couple of printers are down, are gone.
There is a massive cold front coming through, and a lot of printing presses out west are dealing with snow.
Yeah.
So we're doing our best with what we can get. A lot of them are losing power because of the snow.
Yeah.
So we're doing our best with what we can get.
Definitely. So we will catch you guys next time and be safe out there. Bye,
Bye guys.